Welcome everybody to this new podcast series. From today on, I'll try to do a weekly show, which I emphasis on try. We're gonna have a weekly guest where we're gonna ask them the question, who the F they are. It's gonna be a friendly F. It's not gonna be a hard F. It's just a nice podcast, just a fun podcast. I've been walking around with this idea for a long time, and today it's going to be the first day that we're going to be doing this podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Twitch Prime subscribers like you. So please remember that if you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe to this channel for free and support us for free. That's always very much appreciated. And now, let's move on to our amazing guest of today. Today's guest is not just the first episode guest. We're really shooting high for this very first episode. It's the amazing community manager of Digital Extremes, in charge of managing the most unmanageable, the most crazy, irresponsible people on the planet, also known as the Warframe Partners. Of course, we're talking about the Taylor. Taylor, how are you doing today?
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm so glad to have you on. It's amazing. It's amazing. Let me make sure that these weird title bars are out of the way. I hope that everything is right. But yeah, there we go. Very first episode, very first guest. Crazy
Thank
that
you
you dared
for having
to
me. To clarify, I am a community coordinator. I manage a lot of stuff, but I also coordinate. So Megan's a manager, Rebecca's a director, and I'm the
So what's the difference between a coordinator and a manager?
So Megan has been there forever, so she's a manager and she manages, and I coordinate. Yeah.
All right. So before we get started with the rest of the podcast, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping. Sure. Today is the very first episode, which means that things can go wrong. Everything here is set up. It's immensely well set up, I hope. But if things fail, that can happen. At the same time, if you're watching this on Twitch right now live, we're streaming this live on Twitch, and then tomorrow this will be up on YouTube within 24 hours on my YouTube channel, !YouTube, if you want to check that out. But if you're watching this on Twitch and you're wondering, why am I not seeing my Twitch chat pop up? Why am I not being read out? That's because in this podcast, we're going to be saving all the Twitch comments for at the end of the stream, so stick around for that. But in the meantime, we're going to be talking about we're going to start out with a 5-year Warframe Anniversary, because if you don't know, 5 years of Warframe. If you play Warframe on any single platform at all, go over to your Warframe account. You still have a couple of days to log in, get your free Excalibur Prime. Or no, it's not even Prime, it's just your skin. It looks so freaking good. And if you log in, you can also do alerts for all the other deck stuff. If you missed out on that, it's all your fault. Do not miss out on it yet. 2 weeks, a couple more days to go. All right. Now, 5 years of Warframe. Tana, how is that for you? 5 years.
It's crazy. So I've been with Warframe for 2 years, and even the past 2 years. So this was before Star Chart 3.0, and then the whole War Within and everything like that. So even the past 2 years has been incredible in terms of growth for the game. So I can't imagine what it's like for Rebecca and for Megan and for people who, this is their literal baby and they've seen it just evolve into what it is now. Rebecca and Steve and all of those people are out of the office this week for GDC. So I think, it hasn't really hit us yet. But I'm really excited to kind of see what happens next week when everyone gets back. Because the anniversary was just a few days ago, officially, when no one was here. So we'll see what happens, but it's pretty crazy.
It is. I can't, for me, it's already crazy that, 5 years ago, I just found this game, and it developed into something so amazing. But I just saw the documentary, which we're going to talk about later. It revealed so much more what's going on behind the scenes, how important Warframe was. But 5 years is pretty much it's an important landmark. Was there a difference in celebration compared to 4 years, or did you do something special for that day?
That's what I'm saying. No one was here this week, so we haven't really done a lot, at least not that I've noticed. So I think that once everyone is back, we'll be able to address it again. And like as a team, when everyone is kind of here and like the weight of the documentary is kind of like hit us and everything, we'll be able to just like take a minute and like actually think about how insane 5 years is for a free-to-play game that has a community and just a team that has grown in such incredible ways. So, yes. Oh, hey, Coop. Sorry, I shouldn't. Hi.
It's amazing. It is 5 years. I can't imagine though that like isn't there like when the alerts go live? I never really understood this. Like when the alerts go live, is that the anniversary? Or like is that when something is that even like a special? How is that decided? The time that the skin comes in and when the
I don't
alerts
know.
come
I'm not the one who makes those decisions, but I mean, obviously, we gave from the 14th to 28th. Math. That's 2 weeks. So you want to give the community enough time to log in and find time in their lives to make sure that they get the rewards. So I'm sure that they tried to bookend it as much as they can. Because I think the anniversary is the 21st. That's what I read in the IGN article.
Yeah.
So, or the one that we're counting. Because it's kind of hard to find like an anniversary for a game they've honestly been working on for years and years and years before that.
I always find that like it's the same for me. Whenever it's like, oh yeah, the fifth anniversary is coming up. What day is it?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, it's somewhere in March, I guess. Maybe in April. I don't know. Let me just look it up. You like go for the wikis. You go for IGN. It's like release date on console, release date on. No, I want to know. It's somewhere around this time.
Yeah. I think they're considering the open beta date, which is the 21st.
Okay.
What I read.
Okay, so happy 5 years and 3 days then.
5 years? Yeah.
5 years and 3 days!
Yes, exactly.
Woo!
So.
And the server's already crashing.
No!
So what's
the team has been working so hard on that all day. Like the IT channel has just been like messages on messages on messages for like 5 hours. They are working on it and they know like that this is a huge deal, and I assure you that they want it to be fixed as soon as possible for you guys. They're not like, it's not like we're ignoring it at all. I would show you the messages if I could, but I can't. Because don't
show any messages.
Yeah,
I know how much showing messages can get me in trouble. Can get you. We don't do that. Yeah, but if you don't know, if you haven't logged on to Warframe like me today, I was seriously waiting for a moment to record, and then everything just passed. I was like, oh shit. Like I wanted to record my login for like a video later this week, but okay. So if you don't know, servers having issues with matchmaking, login to Warframe, there have been people with problems. Maybe I should have put this on housekeeping. I don't know, but there are problems with the servers that are being worked on. Don't worry about it. We got it. Speaking of which, speaking of the 5-year anniversary, I do want to go over to a little bit of YouTube right here. Let me just switch over right here.
Cool.
As you can see, we have this amazing seat where we can go over and see YouTube videos. Let me see if I can find the right one right here. There we go.
There it is.
There it is, the 5-year anniversary partner video.
Oh my goodness.
It's amazing. Like honestly, am I allowed to tell the story? Like I don't know whether that's covered or not. Like that you contacted us about it or
yeah, for sure.
Okay, so a couple of weeks before. We were contacted by us partners to like submit our like a couple of like video clips talking about certain topics, and if you go for the video, you'll find that they kind of correspond to like the questions that you asked for it. So the wildest dream, what power would you have? These questions, and I had no idea what was going to happen with them. I assumed it was going to be something like this, but I had no idea. And then it came out on the day, and it was like, wow. I don't think I've ever seen this many partners in a Warframe video.
Yeah, there was so many submissions. Like it was, we couldn't use them all. It was so sad. Like it got to the point where we were like, which ones do we use? But honestly, seeing this and like seeing the works in progress of it just made my entire week. Like, I probably watched this like 50 times. It just makes me so happy. So
Same.
like, yeah, I don't know. It's everyone, and it's probably really cheesy, but the whole program, like, honestly, has like its own little pocket in my heart. So like seeing them featured like this is just the best to me.
Yeah. In a few seconds, my favorite moment will... Oh, there you are! So the crazy thing is like, as you see, like, there are short little moments, but of course, like, everything, you record a lot more, and I wanted, like, who put this together? Like, who was involved in, like, putting this together, designing the clips, and...
So, well, on our side, at least the community partner side, I just sent out the link and I sent out the reminders, and I helped kind of make sure the questions were what we wanted to hear from you guys, and like what kind of highlighted the strengths of the program, because you guys have so many great ideas. And then we honestly just gave all of the files to our multimedia team, and they did the rest. So we trusted their judgment, and then they came up with this masterpiece.
Yeah, it is. There's one thing though. There's one thing that I just wanted to. There are two things that I wanted to point out. Number one, I actually had to sign in for this. Oh wow! I just stopped it as like a beautiful picture of Neo. Wow.
Yeah, look at that face.
I love his portals. I didn't understand what that was. I didn't understand what that was at first, but if you look closely, you can see that he put portals up there. And I think like one of the rules was don't edit your video, wasn't it? Like, just
I think it was don't have like overlays or whatever. So some people did, but it was more so like you don't need to like your Twitch overlay saying how many, like, your latest subscriber, because it didn't really make sense. Yeah.
So the first thing I wanted to talk about was like, all right, so I wanted to show this, but I had to sign in because it was like age restricted. Was that because of me or because of Rob? Just like that was one of the only two options.
I don't know. I have no idea. I didn't even know it was age restricted. It might be default on our channel because we are an 18, like a mature game. That could be why. Yeah. I don't know. I don't handle that kind of things.
I just looked at it. I thought it was funny.
That's so funny. I never realized that. Maybe I'll just leave a note and be like, is this intentional?
Is it intentional or not? Is it because, well, we had worse, but I don't think we ate them. But I saw this that we asked our partners to share their thoughts on the games past, present, and future, and it kind of reminded me of another video. Okay. All right, this is a question I never dared to ask, but I'm just gonna do it. Fuck it.
What?
Is there any inspiration from this video? There we go, because this was like the video that was created around 100 hour. No, 100 Death Stream. This.
Yes, I remember this.
You've seen this, so
that's so awesome.
I was looking at that. I was looking at the stories, like we asked our partners for the favorite one. I was like, hey, wait, that reminds, like here we came out and said for their favorite moments, and
I don't think so. I don't think this is related, because I know that for this second dream too, we did kind of the compilation of all of the partners' reactions, which is that video is also hilarious. That was before my time, but I still sometimes will watch it just because I think it's crazy. I don't think it was related, but obviously we just are really smart and we think the same way.
I really liked it because I was like, if you don't know, we've done a couple of these things in the past before. I think we did one for TennoCon. We did one for Deathstream 100. So, like, doing it again. Like, if you do something once, it's fun. If you do something twice, it's cool. But if you do something for the third time, it's kind of going to be like, all right, I was like, I'm not going to do this again because it's like the exact same thing. And then I saw like this for all the partners. And I thought, that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. So I just wanted to point, like, it's so cool. It is so cool that, you see that continue on. It's so great. I love that. So, getting back to what we were, like, I think we just drifted up the topic. I have a couple of topics right here. Don't worry about it. I actually prepared. Sino, if you're watching, I know that you once said you need to keep topics. You can't wing it. You cannot wing it. And I'm like,
You could.
I took that to heart and we're winging it. All right. Yeah. Next. Oh yeah. We already talked about this a little bit. About you worked at DE for 2 years right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do you
sorry, go ahead.
Oh no. Well. How did you get to DE? Like, how do you find digital extremes? Like, what was your process of getting in there and getting a job?
So, the university program that I went to had a really awesome internship program, and obviously I wanted to do an internship because that's great. So like you'd have an internship and then you have to write a easy big paper about your experience, and there's a whole bunch of different options. But I've always found communities really interesting. Like even before I realized that video game community management was a thing, like I'm really interested in like the YouTube kind of communities and like the culture around that. And digital extremes was an option. And I just pushed for it. I was like, this is the one I want to do. Like, they said that they weren't technically offering internships now. I was like, no, like, put my name in. I want to work for a video game company because I love video games. Video games have been something that I've played through my whole life. So it was really cool. I had an internship from January to May of 2 years ago, 2016. And then I got for the summer, and then I managed to get a full-time position, and then now I'm here.
Yay!
So yeah.
So
yeah.
To be honest, like the community video game community thing is like it's brand new. It's like a brand new industry. Like I watched a documentary where like Rebecca was interviewed and they talked about like how she became the community manager. And it's like before you just released the game, you'd have fan communities pop up, but it's like the game was made and put out there, and that was just kind of it. Like now, I think that the role of like the community, like being like in the community team, is like one that's very, very important, right? Because it's like it's what keeps Warframe. It's like what's made Warframe so great, like the interaction between the community and the team, and also making sure that the community behaves and doesn't just like we know how the community can get.
No, the community will do what it wants, and it's up to us to I don't know, to like just encourage them to be constructive and just be awesome. Because I like honestly, I don't know how Rebecca did it. I am lucky to just like kind of get to come into this amazing environment, but Rebecca did all of the groundwork, and she is the one who made the Warframe community what it is. So yeah, I'm so lucky to be here.
Like it's absolutely crazy to think how Rebecca like started this up. Just to not like to just praise Rebecca for what she did. It's like it's absolutely amazing. So many people, such a big community, and we see it. We see it with various YouTubers. We see it with various streamers. We have smaller communities, the Warframe community, but still it's very hard to manage. But then you have the big war, and it's like there was nothing before. You just had to figure it out. So, but when did you like learn about Warframe? Did you know about Warframe before you got to the internship, before you found it, or did you start playing Warframe because you joined DE?
Yeah, I started playing in October when I started doing my internship application process, and when I first played it, I was so confused. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And then I stuck through it, and I figured it out, and I am where I am now. But I've never heard of it before, which is kind of sad because it's totally up my alley. Like I was a huge Monster Hunter fan, like back in the day, like Monster Hunter Tri on the Wii. I spent so much of my life playing that game, and Warframe shares kind of a similar feel, at least. I don't know how else to explain it. So the fact that it wasn't so well known back then, because like in the document, like we're just gonna refer back to the documentary now because why not? They talked about how a lot of the press or whatever for the game actually came from the community itself and I just didn't pay attention to those people, so I didn't know that it was a thing. So
Yeah, it's like I think I've seen you in chat. I told you guys I wasn't gonna watch your chat that much, but I think I saw Rob in chat.
Yeah.
I've been talking with Rob about this a lot, like how Warframe doesn't really enjoy mainstream media attention, or didn't until like a year ago. Now it's kind of starting to get there, but I would love to see it a lot more. But it's like
Oh, for sure.
it's really because of like the people like on the internet that are picking it up, and then because they're playing it, they're sharing it, and it's like amazing to see how that has grown and how like you had let's just go and take a look at the documentary a little bit.
Yes.
Let's see, there we go. Because like this was a point that was mentioned in the Warframe documentary, where it's like when Warframe was coming to be, there was like this one. Was it Total Biscuit, the video, the review that like had like before the video and after the video? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was the Cynical Brit one for sure. Yeah.
I think it was so too. But anyway, if you guys haven't seen, No Clip is an amazing YouTube channel I hadn't heard of before. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Yeah.
So, but they're amazing. They're amazing, guys. All go subscribe to No Clip. If you're watching this from No Clip, I love you guys. Great work. But they made this amazing documentary about Warframe, which the first time I learned about this was because they posted it on Twitter. Like, hey, Warframe Partners, we're looking for material. But it's amazing. Have you seen it?
Oh, yes. I've watched this like twice, at least.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched both parts like twice at least.
Yeah. So, was there anything new in there that you didn't know? Was it like you knew everything?
I learned a lot, actually. So I knew at like a top level the history of DE and like Dark Sector and like the Unreal Tournament and all that stuff, but like hearing the actual stories from Scott and Sheldon and Rebecca and Steve and then even Meredith, it was like these are just like things that you don't necessarily hear in regular day-to-day conversation. Like it really, at least for me, it kind of just like hit me right in the chest. Like I was really emotional watching it. I'm gonna be completely honest, to just think of like I know personally like how great Rebecca is. This is just gonna be the Rebecca is great podcast.
Yeah. All right, guys.
I see that she does all the time, but you don't necessarily see all the work that's in Sheldon and Steve do in their day-to-day that really kind of shapes the game the way that it is, and it's just mad respect. I should like bow down when I see something.
It's the same. I don't know if it's like to the credit of like No Clip of how amazing they structured it. Like, you know, there's some editing involved in it, but it's like I was going into this. I was like, okay, you know, it's amazing Warframe documentary, but what is there for me to know about? Like, I've been with this game for 5 years. I've met all of you guys at TennoCon. Like, I think I know this story, right? But then they, like, the first bit, if you haven't seen the first part of it, I'd say definitely go watch the first part, and then you're of course gonna watch the second part. Like, there's no way around that. But it's like the first part was so amazing. Like, I'd never heard about like how DE like came to be, and then what surprised me the most is like how they worked so closely with Epic Games together, and then almost like merged, but then didn't do that, and then it's like looking at like how big Epic Games is right now with their Fortnite, and then looking at Warframe right now, it's like, wow, like I would have never drawn these lines. Yeah, no, James is incredible. Like the stuff that he's done, I can't even fathom it. It's so cool. Like pinball, man. Yeah, that's my childhood right there. Like, it's just mind blowing to think of how far back this all goes. It is. And going back to like the very first trailer things, like where you see Warframe, but it was still Dark Sector, and you're like, I see it. That's it. That's just Warframe, and they had it right there. But what really hit home, what was really well shown into this documentary is how important like Warframe and the Founder program was for like the survival for DE. Like, I don't think enough people realize this. Like, I knew part of it. I knew part of the story, like how Warframe was like really, really important. It was like a real big thing, but I never knew it was this important that it was literally like, oh my god, we made $1,500. Oh my god, guys. it is crazy. Yeah. Like, wow. So yeah.
It's got to be surreal looking back for those guys, looking back to those times and then looking to today and seeing what they've built and what they've grown, because like it's awesome.
Yeah. So do you like already been, because right now we're talking about documentaries, like what they've built. It's also part, like 2 years is not nothing. Like you're also part of that build. Are you like feeling that more and more, or is it like, because I can understand like looking at this, you're like, well, that's amazing what they've built, and we praise Rebecca, she deserves to be praised, but you also deserve praise. Like you spent two years in it. We've seen an amazing change in like the partner program. We've had an amazing video that wasn't possible. So that wasn't possible without you. Well, I hope, Drew, you're not watching, but no, it like there has been like a big change, and a lot.
I actually didn't know what the partner program was like before I started taking it over. Like, I knew kind of the outline that I had, but I was like, okay, this is the people I'm working with. Let's just do stuff. So I don't really have any comparisons, you know. But I just go in and have fun every day. So I think it's a little more difficult for me to feel like I have as much of an impact as these guys. But you know.
Well, I do remember, like, I think it was like a year ago or something when we first when we first had contact over Discord.
Yeah.
And that was before you were doing the partner program. That was like a month before or something. What were you doing what were you doing around that time? Like,
so prior to the partner program, I was a bit of social media actually. So I did some tweets and copy stuff. And then I also did the Tenogen program, which I still do now. So I'm the community leader kind of. So I do all like the community side stuff. I do the feedback and like the forum posts and kind of like working with the creators to get changes and feedback or updates to their pieces in game and stuff. And then just whatever other community tasks, like the dev stream overviews and stuff. But and then I transitioned to full community. Yeah. Well, so glad. And now I took over the partner program instead of doing PR stuff.
So when did you know that you were gonna be in charge of the partners? Because I think like Drew had to leave because of Keystone, the Amazing Eternals. Like, when was like, well, feel free to not answer if you can, but like when did you know? Like, when did they tell you?
I don't know how early on, but when we were, I think when we were talking like the 72-hour stream, I had an idea that I would be doing partner program stuff at that point, because there's a lot of moving parts for the partner program, and so you needed the time to kind of get a feel for what exactly your day is going to be, especially with like ChannelCon and stuff. So having more laid up, but I honestly cannot remember the window at which point it was a decision that was made.
Speaking of that, speaking of like the 72-hour stream, there's one question that I've always wanted to ask you, and this is really a question that, like, feel free if you don't want to answer this on stream, don't answer it on stream. But let me build up to the situation. So we were doing the 72-hour stream. It was the very first start. I'd been watching the dev stream with Rob for like an hour, and then we would start up. We started the first 10 minutes. OBS crashed, and I was freaking out. I started it back up, and Warframe hosted us. That had never been done before. But I did an hour. We did an hour, and then we switched over, and I looked at my computer, and I saw a Discord message from Drew, and it said, "Okay, so apparently we're hosting you now. Make sure you have someone in charge." So my question is, did you host us, or do you know?
I have no idea.
Because that's always
that was so long ago. I honestly have no idea. I'm so sorry.
It doesn't matter.
I remember like that. Oh yeah, I guess we could host them for sure, but I don't know I don't remember the exact conversation. Honestly, like I was dead in overview land. So anytime after the dev stream for like 3 hours, don't talk to me because I'm busy. So I really don't know. I'm so sorry, but
no, it doesn't matter. It's like because I had so much contact with you around like setting it up, doing the press and stuff.
Yes.
And I think we talked about hosting. I don't know. It was like I was like sitting there. This host has never been ever done before. And I was just sitting there. My OBS had crashed. And I was like, "Oh my god! Okay, we're back up. We're running this. We've never done this before." And I get like a stress drew in my inbox saying, "Okay, someone's hosting you. I don't know. Well, just make sure you handle it." I was like, "Okay,
yeah.
okay, shit's getting real now." It was insane, but like you were like put on there. I know from outside of things what it was like to like host it, but what was it like? Like, do you still remember what it was like to like be in charge of like communicating with like the giveaways and like the promotion? Because we also talked about that, like being in charge of like this new stream, this new concept thing that had never been done before, and then like being the contact person in charge of that at the like being on the side of things, like, you know, the promotion stuff, the giveaway stuff. Like, what was it like to be working with that? Because
I don't know. Like, honestly, that's so much of my job now. It's like coordinating giveaways and like helping people with charity streams, because charity streams have gotten big on Twitch recently, which is awesome. Like, charity streams, I love charity streams. They're like probably my favorite thing to come out of the Twitch community. Just for how giving and incredibly passionate people are about these. So I honestly, like, again, it was a year ago and my memory is like done. I don't know. Yeah. I'm old now. I can't remember anything.
It's probably like part of like the landscape we're in. Like, it's a week on YouTube or Twitch feels like a year. So
yeah, exactly. I think like I'm sure back then I thought it was really cool. Like kind of a meld between the PR stuff or social media stuff, I guess you could say, that I did before, and then like potential future partner management stuff. So it was a nice blend, but I honestly cannot tell you what was going through my head because it was so long ago.
Well, actually that moves on to like the next thing about like the Warframe Partners. Like, you're working with the Warframe Partners now, and like you said, like the Warframe Partners was a new thing, and you were like, I always wondered, like, I know how I became like a Warframe fan channel and was put in this pool of amazing people. Like, my first question was, did you watch any of the Warframe Partners before you became like the partner? Yeah, the partner.
Yeah, I did. I mean, Warframe is a huge game. Warframe is so complex and so layered. Like, I think only 6 months ago I really understood what stances did after a point. Like, and there's just so many, like, for splash procs and stuff, like, there's just so many different little nooks and crannies where you need to look for information. So the partner videos are a huge resource. Like, iFlynn, of course, for the beginner stuff. And then I also really like Burzheim. Hey, Burzheim. He's probably not watching, but I love his videos too. Mogamu. Like, there's a whole bunch of different content creators that I watched before. Mostly educational, I'll be honest. But yeah.
So, what was it like? What was it like to like from? It wasn't really from the one day to the other, but like for us, it kind of was. Like, we had you were kind of there. Like I knew you before you became the partner, like in control of the partner program, but there were like a lot of people for you were new to. But what was it like to be all of a sudden like the manager or the coordinator of these people? Like these YouTubers, these streams that you'd been watching before, and now having to interact with them. What was that like?
I was fangirling pretty hard. It's crazy now, especially like I was like 18 years old, and you're like, oh man. It was such a cool, like, awesome person. And then like Rob too, and then meeting all of these people in real life at TennoCon and everything. I had actually met a lot of them before at TennoCon, but they didn't know who I was. So I just like kind of
Really?
sat there. Yeah. It's because I was so this was like the first TennoCon that I was at, so like 2016, right? And so like they just knew me as someone who worked at DE, but not to any like big extent because I hadn't had any sort of public-ish role, you know? Because I did like again, I don't even think I was on TennoGen at that point. I just did like Steam forums and other internal stuff.
How big are those?
Yeah.
How big are those, the Steam forums?
Pardon? I don't know. There's a lot of comments to moderate, but I can't tell you in terms of numbers. I've honestly never looked. But there's an active community there, and there's some really awesome people who talk there, and I actually really enjoy that part of the community.
Shout out to our people Steam, on the Steam forum.
Shout out to Steam. Hi, Steam.
Steam forum.
Woo! No. Yeah.
So, because like I remember, like I joined. I don't know if you like. If I like, I probably told this story so many times, but like, I joined the partner program when I had like 30 subscribers back when it was like when there were like very little people there, and it was like looking back, I'm like I don't know how, but it was amazing. And all of a sudden, like especially when you start like talking to these people, it's like wow, I am watching your content now. I'm working with you. It's insane. It's like
it's crazy.
You know, they're just people. You know, it's just like. Over time, it's like it just become your friends. It just become like the people that you work with. Some people you really like, some people just like colleagues, and it's like. But the first weeks, the first months were like absolutely crazy for me.
Yeah,
that was like wow. So I wanted like because I just like got in touch like one by one. You were like all of a sudden like all right, you're in charge right now. Everyone speaks to you.
Yeah,
they were all your DMs all of a sudden.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was like scary, right? I mean, these people, they have so much knowledge, first of all, and second of all, they have such passionate communities that like you just want to make sure that what you say is like said well and that you make them like you. You know what I mean? I want to be like that DE that is like, oh yeah, it's Taylor. Okay, whatever.
Oh, I know. It's like,
it's a lot of fun, as I said. It was crazy though, I'll tell you right now. Like, so I started in May, and then like 2 months later, we announced Planes of Eidolon, and I thought like the transition in May was crazy. Like after that, it was just crazy.
It has been like it's if you look at like everyone that streamed Warframe, played Warframe at that time, the graphs just shut up at that time, and it was like I know the Twitch directory, I know that very well around that time. I've actually did my research on it during that time. I had no clue that things were gonna happen that way, but I was like, okay, you know what? When the planes come out, I'm gonna monitor it. We're gonna look at like how does it. All of a sudden, it was like the Warframe directory normally had like. Let me just explain to if you're not a Twitch fanatic like me, or I don't know, Taylor, if you're like. If you want to classify yourself as Twitch fanatic, if you watch it, but
I do.
All right, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna focus on Twitch, and the Twitch director of Warframe always had around 1,500 people that were watching it. 1,500 people, like, and on a crazy day it could be 5,000, but like the directory, everyone that will stream would be 1,500. After the Planes of Eidolon, it was 40,000. 1,500 to 40 freaking thousand. It was like no one knew what was going on. I remember like looking at the directory, you just see like people streaming, not because they had a clue what was going on. Everyone was just like, oh shid, there was something going on with Warframe. We gotta stream. And I have no idea what we're doing. We're just streaming. Like, did you guys have that as well? Like just like the way the Warframe directory blew up at the time.
Yeah, it's because the Warframe directory blowing up also meant everything else blew up as well. Yeah, it did. We're getting like, especially after Planes of Eidolon specifically, like we had hundreds and hundreds of applications a week for partners. Whereas before we were getting like maybe 10, which is great, like because you want kind of a sustained amount of partners, but Like, oh my
Oh
goodness,
my
it
god.
was crazy. And like having to look through everyone's content and like get an idea of like what they are and like see if they're a good fit when there's hundreds of them. It was crazy. But it was a lot of learning and a lot of kind of
Mhm.
what's the saying? I don't even know. Just like
Uh,
being quick on your feet and like adapting. But it was awesome at the same time to see the crazy numbers. Like Iceland almost hit 20,000. Tactical Potato, like so so many people. It was awesome.
what was most amazing, like for me, it was like I was looking at like people that were like normally hitting 300, because if you watch Twitch, if you're like a Twitch streamer, if you watch directory, you know that like the limit of Warframe used to be around 200, 300. Like you never see a lot of streams above that, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden people were hitting 5,000 consistently, and
Mm.
it was absolutely crazy. I remember like looking at Nick's TV and Neoness, two
Yeah.
streamers
Yeah,
that
yeah.
before never hit like above hundreds. They were amazing. But I remember at
Yeah.
TennoCon we had that was like we were talking about with Grates about Nick's, how he got like a $150 donation. He was like jumping, going crazy. It was like the first time he streamed, and it was so, he was like, and then he was like hitting 15,000 like 12 hours straight, and it was like we've
Yeah.
never seen anything like that before. It was like, it was amazing.
Mm.
So it was like the very first time the Twitch drops thing had been like implemented in like
Yes.
anything. Warframe was the very first. Like, did Twitch, like, were you part of like any communication of Twitch where they like predicted something, said like, well, watch for your directory because it may explode, or did you like anticipate something like this, or was it a complete surprise?
I personally wasn't in like contact with Twitch at all. That was definitely a different department. I do know that we were first dev to actually ever do Twitch drops. I want to say it was Smite who had Twitch drops tied to their esports, I think, maybe, or something. I know that it had existed before. I don't think anyone had ever, to the extent that we did, where it was tied to achievements. But, and I remember, who else was it? Was it Fortnite? The PvE, they had the unique quests when you watched casters. So we were just trying to do something that fit frame. And I don't think anyone ever anticipated the way that it would turn out. But it was a really interesting experience, and it was so ambitious, and like the team worked so hard on getting the code ready for like this enormous launch, and it obviously paid off because it was crazy. It was crazy.
It was so mad.
It was crazy.
It was like I remember like we like a week before that we did like the 100-hour stream, which was like on the front page of Twitch, and that was like insane. We were hitting 3,000 viewers, and I was like, wow, this has never happened before, has it? And it's like, what, 3,000? Like, you know, we were just going crazy, and then next week it was like 3,000. It was like, you know, it's just 3,000. You can just like look at these people up there. They're having 15,000. I can probably pull up the data sheets of like the top 20 streams. I kept every single day. We take like 2 data points at like 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. from like the top 20 streams, the amount of viewers, and it was like, it's crazy. So, but getting back to the Warframe Partners, where we were like talking about a little bit before, what is it like to be working with YouTubers and Twitch streamers? Like, is it like, do they work differently? Is it like anyway different to work with like YouTuber streamers, content creators, than it's with like other people? Is there a difference in there or not?
So we did a survey that you answered at the end of 2017 for our partners, and we just wanted, because a lot of things have changed. I started, and I just wanted to make sure that everything, and you could see like a distinct difference between the YouTube focused people and the Twitch focused people, and I think it just has to do with ways in which Twitch and YouTube encourage different content. So Twitch definitely is more like community interaction, like right in the moment, getting right then. So I think if they like like free things, and having people on stream as guests, as well as Twitch drops, of course. Who wouldn't want Twitch drops? Whereas YouTubers content, right? Like being the first one have original or content, like money, like that's where it is. So theirs were a lot more that way, you know? So it definitely has kind of helped, at least this year, us focus on making sure that YouTube gets as much support as they can too, because it's easier to support Twitch because a lot of what they want is we already offer, whereas YouTube is like you need to offer all YouTubers the exact same thing, but they also need to like make it different enough that people watch it instead of being like the first person to drop like the lens or whatever.
Yeah, it's harder with YouTubers because it's like I've noticed that like last couple of weeks, months, we haven't had really like a lot of weapon releases, and if you look at like a content creator that like I tended to do some weapon reviews, it's like okay, there's no weapon reviews, and it's like okay, well where are the weapon reviews? And then it's like okay, wait, hey, there are a lot of skins, and you have someone like Hydroxy that will love that. It's like there's so much different content for like so many different YouTubers. It's just not it's like one thing you can give to them. But I do think it's interesting to see that I don't know if you've like gone through like the history of like the partners, but I remember like before when the partner program was very young, it was like the YouTube community was like YouTube was the partner program. It's like the fan channels were all YouTube channels.
For sure, yeah.
It was like
I mean Twitch only really got big the year or two.
Yeah.
Like when I first started.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine what it was.
It was like I remember when I joined, it was like YouTubers, and you had like one or two Twitch streamers, and then I think it was like Lunsky, Snowlid, and oh my god, I'm forgetting someone. Oh my god. Anyway, there were 3 Twitch streamers that like they became partnered, and they made Warframe big, and then like Twitch started coming up, and then we had last year with like Twitch events with Twitch drops, and then all of a sudden it was like the roles were reversed. We had like a lot of like it was easy to support Twitch. Twitch was like getting a lot, and YouTube was like YouTube was still pretty good, but like Twitch had grown.
Yeah.
So how do you like look at that? Is it like that you're looking for? Is there any way that you like want to balance these two out, or?
Absolutely, yeah. A large part of the conversation, at least for me, when we're thinking about ways to support partners, is like yes, there's a lot of kind of easier ways to support Twitch, just because the way that the platform is built, it just matches kind of what we can inherently offer. But there's always like what can we thinking. Like for instance, we offer you guys sometimes information before it's public, which you guys so kind of focusing on that to help the YouTube is definitely a big thing. Yeah. Oh yeah, Poke Panda. I remember him.
All right, hold on. You're cutting out sometimes a little bit.
No.
Maybe that's just for me. I don't know. I have no idea. So
Robin, not cutting out.
maybe it's like the Twitch. The Poke Panda. Oh my god! Thank you so much, Rob. Poke Panda. That was it. Yeah, Poke Panda, Poke Panda, Snowlit, and Lunsky. Those were like the 3 big Twitch streamers that like build it. That was amazing.
I remember seeing them all at TennoCon. It was great. Am I still cutting out?
No.
Wrong.
No, you're good. It's I think it's probably like Discord that has like this noise thing. We're using Discord. It's all good. We're just gonna go with it. Anyway, I want to get back to like more like this is really partner specific. Very interesting if you're a partner, but I want to ask a more lighter partner question, which is again, feel free to answer or not if you don't feel like it, but what are things that you appreciate a lot from the partners, and what are like some funny little quirks that you've seen with them? It's like are there like things that are like very interesting, like in the way that they like communicate? Are there like funny stories around that, or is it?
I think the partners are okay. How do I? Well, I really appreciate, especially on, because I feel like YouTube is easier to kind of view the history of their conversations and the way that they talk about situations versus Twitch. Like, if you miss a Twitch stream, like, you're not going to hear what they said anymore. No. But I think it's really interesting the ways in which partners kind of take what we say and, like, dissect it and are willing to hold us accountable and willing to kind of theory craft and make connections that players normally wouldn't. And I think that's really essential for us as developers to make sure that the community is heard, but also make sure that our history is also taken into account. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So,
you have to.
It's so easy to like view something just in the moment instead of doing it in the game. So I think that partners especially really help that, and a lot of them are really, really strong at kind of making those connections. And then at the same time, we get a lot of feedback from partners. They just know, a lot of them just know the games, and they even know it more in the ways that they kind of talk to their communities and get feedback and read questions on Twitter and YouTube and Twitch. And so when they give us feedback, like, I look at it personally as like their opinion, but they also sending like the 50,000 followers or like 5,000 followers or 100,000 followers that they have. And it really, I don't know, I really like it. Sorry, I got distracted. Everyone's talking about My Hero Academia. Oh my god.
Are they saying something in chat? Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Oh.
That's been
quirks. Yeah, like that's something.
I think everyone, each person has their own quirk, and like when like a new piece of content is coming out, like I know the ways in which like Brozyme is going to cover it, and Tactical Potato is going to cover it, and Rob is going to cover it, and Goop is going to talk about it. So I mean, I don't have like one unified quirk in the program because everyone's different, and that's what the strengths of the program is, right?
Yeah. Well, what I think is very interesting is that like it's very new. I just pulled up the stream chat so people can see it. But it's very new that people that you're working in a business where like before, if you were working like with traditional media, you have very professional people in the field. I'm not saying that all people are not professional, though. I know how I am. Like it's everyone just like learned it by themselves. Everyone just comes into the business. You have people that are very young like me. You have people that are older. You have people that are older but still very young like Rob. It's like you have the interesting thing is that everyone here is like the partners, like as far as I can see, the YouTubers and streamers, they're all trying to make it. They're all doing a fantastic job. But it's like I feel it's like so much different to be working with them because it's like it's not a very like office situation. It's not everyone is like doing everything by by the book, and you get so many people that have like there are like funny things in like the way that they handle it. You're like, oh my god, you wouldn't do that. Like Rob, oh my god. I remember we did this one video. Maybe I can show it. Hold on. We did this one video for TennoCon. What was it? TennoCon trailer. I asked them I asked a couple of people like, hey guys, W Grace has it, I think, as well. Hey guys, can you send me in some submissions? Like, hey, do something. Like, I was very fake about like just show you getting ready for TennoCon, and you get like the craziest things. And then Rob came along. It was like, dude, it was so Rob. Like this final thing.
Yeah. I mean. Oh yes, I remember this. Oh, I love it. Oh man, this is also great. This is like one of the first things that you sent me as like partner. Yeah. Like when I first started in the partner program. Yeah. Oh yeah.
But have you ever had like, has there been anything notable that you're like, oh my god, like I'm so working with like it's only gonna happen with working with like a YouTuber or a Twitch streamer? Anything like that?
No, for sure. I mean, like, well, we visit Twitch chats a lot, right? So there are definitely individuals who will be making inappropriate jokes, and you're like, I don't know what to do right now. Do I disengage? Do I just pretend it's not happening? I can't. I can't.
What is that like? What is that like? Like I seriously like. What is it like if you like go into someone's Twitch stream, and because like you're not going in there as like just Taylor. Sometimes you're going there as DE Taylor, but sometimes you're going in there as Warframe, and you're sitting there as Warframe. It's like there are some streams that can get really, really, Rob here.
Oh,
we have
yes.
Rob here
Rob,
as a perfect example.
Yep.
How is it
Griddark.
like? Griddark. Oh yes. Griddark,
I mean,
freaking love you.
If we didn't want, if it was a deal breaker, then we wouldn't accept them. But it can be awkward sometimes to just go into chat and be like, oh, this is a topic that I literally cannot comment on professionally, and I don't know if I want to be in this context right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Oh my god. I really, really love these streams. Like we probably tend to go over the edge with the couch sometimes as well. Especially
no, it's all good. It's all in good fun.
Well, yeah, it is.
I mean, we see prime time with all of the accidental, inappropriate comments that get made.
Oh my god.
So it's just the nature of Twitch.
It is.
It's also, but there's always moments you're like, maybe I'm just gonna pretend I'm not here for 5 minutes until the conversation moves on.
Let me see. There was oh yeah. Speaking about using that the Warframe name, the DE name, when you come into when you become a DE employee. I wanted to say developer, but you're not all developers, employee. But you're in a position where you're there are a lot of employees. Some people know all of them, some people know just a few of them. I think that you're one of the people that most people know. What is it like when you let's just go over to take a look at your Twitter right here. Oh yeah. But I don't know if I can find it, but you have a decent amount of followers right there.
I don't know where they all came from. I don't get it. I don't tweet about anything. I just retweet dog pictures. Okay.
Yeah, it's 4,486 followers. Guys, can we get up to 5,000? That would be amazing.
I remember when I had 5, and I was like, oh, this is crazy. And then all of a sudden, it's at over 4,000. I don't understand.
Yeah, what is that like? Because I've never seen it actually happen. Or maybe I've seen, but I can't remember when that shut up. But did it happen overnight? Did it happen when that happens?
It was gradual.
How does that feel? What is it like? Because I know that I do something like that when making videos. You see it go up, and it's insane. But all of a sudden, you get this position, you're working with partners, and at the same time, you your Twitter goes up. It's what?
It's weird. It's definitely weird, especially because I'm not Megan, I'm not Steve or Rebecca or any of those who are actually kind of more public personality. I'm just someone who literally goes in and does my job and stays behind the scenes and occasionally voices the top 10 comments and picks out all the terrible puns that were posted in chat. But it's pretty cool to see that there are that many people who want to follow me, but I feel a lot has to do with the Twitch and partner side of things, where oh yeah, she manages the partner program. I see her Twitter in her email, and so I'm just gonna follow her and keep tabs kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. I Twitter ever before I started working at DE, and I just use it to retweet things that I like. Yeah, and there's not a lot of pressure. I don't really see a lot of pressure outside of that, to be honest. That's true.
It is it's kind of this is also something that I've always wondered. And it's whenever you see Megan stream or you see Danielle stream, like everyone is watching that, and they're like I've seen the comments when I was at prime time. Like I've seen how people can like go crazy, but how much like when you look at your Twitter account, like how much do you feel like the people are following you for you, and how much people are following you for the DE that's in front of that, and how does that?
It's probably just the DE. Let's be real. I don't know why anyone. Please tell me why. Like I said, I honestly retweet things. I don't tweet actively.
Well, you can find her on Twitter right now. You see the little handle in the bar. Go follow her right now at the Tay King. Right? Yeah. That's it. Go follow Taylor right now. But is it like how like do you ever think about that? I don't know. Like it may probably be different for like you because you don't actively do those streams. But like I know I had it at some point where it was like you got a lot of people following you, and it was like, all right. Like especially around the drops, it was like, do these people watch me for the drops? Do they watch me for me? Do they follow? It's like, I get this like small existential crisis where you're like, is this like what's going on? What and like, do you ever like? Do you ever feel anything like that, or is it like
No, I don't think so. Like when I look at my page, I think people so. I use it to connect with TennoGen creators and kind of hype them up, and then like community members, and then like people within the Twitch content creation sphere. And like I personally, when I made it, I had like reservations about the idea that people were actively following it for me as a person. You know what I mean? As me, D.E. Taylor, as a representative who like is more of a resource, or someone to bother for glyph codes.
Oh yeah, like
or
like how is like the people contacting you? Like do you get a lot of people? Like I know we made like an account for like the Warframe fan channels one day, and we still get pings of people like posting up videos and tagging it in there. Like everything that says Warframe, just tag it in there. I'm so sorry, Warframe Madness, if you're watching this. You're always like I see they're always being tagged because it just says Warframe and he's always being tagged and all these things. But like. Are there like a lot of people like comments like tweeting to you every single day? And it's like if they tweet is like relax, it's like okay tweets, or is it like do you get a lot of that? Do you get a lot of people just trying to get a share?
Not really, actually, which is it's great. I don't want to say nice. That sounds bad. I just mean like it doesn't make sense for a lot of people to tweet at me. Like people, like I said, the TennoGen community, especially whenever they post their amazing skin concepts and all that, I'll be tagged a lot, and like partners will tag me a lot. But I don't think like the community itself, a lot of them will, because I'm just like I said, I'm not like unless you know where to look for me, like you're not gonna know me that much. So, like, if you're in the partners communities, like Rob was saying that he talks about me all the time for some reason, well...
Go follow her right now. It's on the screen right now.
You're just not going to know who I am, right? Like, I'm not in that public sphere, so...
there is no, like, there's no DE in your handle, which probably helps a little bit. I had a DE
Taylor for... And I was like, I don't know if this is helping or not. And so I just changed it to match what everyone else had, which was their full name. So that's what Danielle has, that's what Megan has. I'm going to copy you. We're done.
Like this is one thing though that like I don't think I want to talk about for too long, but I had that like I had real reservations about like putting my full name out there because it's like I don't know, with like everything that's going on with like the online, like there are amazing people online, but then there are also people online that are not amazing. It's like I was like, oh my god, you can't like I don't know, I can't take that risk. It's not like it's like a mistake that you can make, and it was like
that's true. I feel like my name, Taylor King.
Yeah,
it's like I remember back in the day when you could like up on Facebook how many people had the same name as you, and people with the same name as me. So it's a lot less different, I think, for me specifically. And also, like, because there's always a million Taylors, I'm so to as Taylor, like, instead of Taylor Jones or whoever. But yeah, a comic book character, that's cool. I could also be, I remember my, this is random. I remember my high school guidance counselor saying I had a really good writer name, probably because of Stephen King. So I guess there's all of these options for me now.
Hold on. Oh yeah, I see it right here. Taylor King says like a comic book character now. Yeah, like to be honest, like yeah, what Operative says as well. Steve Sinclair. That's like there are some like real. They would make real good comic book characters. Like we could make an entirely new comic. This just about just what you like.
Get on it, fan
Rob,
artists.
yeah, come on, guys. Rob, we need some of your input. Come on. Anyway, let me see what's up next. Oh yeah. Like, we just came on Twitter. Like how amazing is that? That's just a perfect link. If I hadn't just almost screwed that up, but the next thing I was going to talk about, like, I didn't prepare this. Okay, I did not prepare this, but it all works out so well. Your Twitter description, which I think is amazing. Full-time content consumer. Woo! I love you.
Yeah. Yep.
How much like how much YouTube and Twitch do you like? Do you watch, or do you watch also a lot of like TV? Like, well, first question.
I watch YouTube first. My boyfriend is TV obsessed. Like, he's watched a million TV shows, and when I was like, well, still now, like, I don't watch TV shows. I just watch YouTube videos. That's what my preferred form of content is. I also like Twitch, but I have the issue where I can't turn it off. I can't. Yeah. Like, it's like Netflix without the "are you watching" kind of reminder that you're like, it's been 4 hours, you should probably do something. Whereas like a YouTube video, you're like, okay, I have 20 minutes to watch this, and then I'll get up and go on with my life. So
I know it's like I first watched a lot of YouTube, then I went over to Twitch like to watch that, and it's like you get in there and you don't know when to get out.
Exactly, it's so hard to like be disciplined.
Oh yeah, every time I like try to say, okay guys, I gotta go now, bye, and then you're like waiting for them to like say okay bye, because you don't just want to leave. Maybe they have something to say. It's like another interesting discussion comes up. It's like okay, well, I'm sorry, but I'm just probably gonna have to stay another half an hour.
Even at work, so because we drop into Twitch streams all the time, it'll get to a point you're like, okay, I'll be in here, and then you're like, oh, it's been an hour and a half. I haven't done the work that I want to do. So, legit talk show. Hey, James, how are you? Sorry, I'm looking at chat again. I can't help it.
Doesn't matter. We can pull up a little bit of chat as well. But the YouTube content. Like, what kind of YouTube content do you watch? Like, is it a lot of Warframe content, or is it like also a lot of content that's not Warframe related?
So I'll be honest. I don't watch a lot of Warframe content at home, just because like you kind of need to compartmentalize. You know, I'll watch a lot of it at work. I watch at least one partner video a day, or I try to while I do other tasks, just to get like a feel of what everyone's talking about, or like see what they think of new content or whatever. But at home, like I watch whatever. I watch a lot of like video essays. So like Lindsay Ellis and like Austin McConnell and Every Frame a Painting and all that stuff.
Oh, let me see if we can find Every Frame.
They're great. And then a bunch of other like really not I don't want to say like bad, but you know what I mean, like the like the goofy fluff content for sure, like Jenna Marbles, Sophia and Vanguard.
Like I actually had this
and Overwatch, yes.
I had it back in the day where, well, let's just like play this. Every Frame a Painting, by the way, is really, really good. If you haven't seen Every Frame, go watch it right now. Like, oh my god, like the amount of detail they'll go into, it's insane. This is me fanboying about this, but I used to be like when I started doing Warframe content, I used to watch like a freaking ton of Warframe content. I was like, all right, I'm gonna subscribe to every Warframe fan channel, which was like manageable because back then it was 60 around.
Yes.
Now it's like a lot harder. But I was like, all right, I felt like I need to know what's going on, okay? Like, and I felt it would be really bad if I would like meet people at TennoCon and be like, hey, how are you doing? They'd be like, oh, hey, I'm also a Warframe partner. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know what you make.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like I need to know what to do. But it's like there is so much of it. It's like so much that's being put out. It's hard to keep up. To like stay sane as well as like, I now tend to watch like a very little Warframe content. It's like I watch some, but because like when you're busy with it, like you're completely involved in it. Like there's a lot of like other content that I watch.
Oh, for sure. I think too, like if you do your job, which a lot of like you do and I do in a way, like you need, when you have like your relaxing time, you just kind of need to separate yourself from it just for your own sake, so you don't get burnt out, right? That doesn't mean like you don't love all the content. It just means like you need to do other things. It's like if you played the same video game over and over and over again for like
5 years. 5 years. Yeah. 5 years and 3 days. I'm still doing it every single day.
Yeah. It's like spending every single living moment with like another person. You're just gonna get sick of it at some point. So you need to have boundaries.
Let me just see. Like, there's still like a lot of Warframes content creators I'm watching, but like, there's also a lot of stuff between. If like, there's one.
Oh, Doctor Disillusion. Doctor. Captain Disillusion.
Yes, I wanted to talk about that. You watch him as well? Oh my god. This is like, guys, if you've never seen Captain Disillusion, this is the most underrated YouTuber ever.
He's gotten huge recently. I remember in the circuit bracelet video. Oh wow. And
but this,
like he's grown so much. It's awesome.
It's like this this guy, Captain Dissolution. His entire channel is about like this, like going out and cracking down like visual effects. Like if people post up a video and they say like, "Oh, I can have a and there can be a phone on there," and he will just debunk that. And but he doesn't just simply debunk that. Like one that's really good is like the invisible box. Where this is a video where Captain Dissolution, let me see if we can find it. He talks about these videos going like viral years ago, where people would like do this trick where you'd step on an invisible box and then it's like a mime thing. However, he like does it to the max. Let me see. Invisible box challenge. Let me see here. This is like the video where he talks about it, like he debunks it. It's like this the way they do it, which is like, if you want to see that, that's so that go watch it for yourself. But this is where he replicates that, and let me just show you like how he does that. It is insane. Instead of like just taking a green screen box, it's like he has a box and he puts down this grid of dots to like create the entire scene in like a software program. As you can see right here, rotate the camera. It is like, it's for one simple thing. He goes like to extreme length. It is so crazy to see. And it's like from the start, like ever since his first video, the quality of production is insane.
It's interesting too. Like so for those who haven't watched him, he originally did just a bunch of like kind of debunking and how the person did the videos, but he's like totally kind of changed the way that he's approached content now that like basically he's debunked everything in existence. And it's really cool to see the ways in which he's kind of evolved and like even made commentaries on the state of content creation, like with his most recent videos. I think he's wonderful and he's definitely my favorite. I've watched every single one of his videos multiple times.
This recent one was so good. Like he copies, like if you've ever seen a YouTuber parodying another YouTuber, this is like the next level. Like you will see him how he does it. Like this guy, like I thought it was like a collaboration. This is so good. This is so good.
Yeah.
Oh my god. All right, we're fanboying over Captain Disillusion.
A little bit. I'm sorry.
No. So yeah. Oh my god, I love that. I absolutely like. Oh.
Yes.
And I have to say, I watch more YouTube than I watch TV.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I think it's like a 1 to 10 ratio at this point. I'm not kidding.
Every morning, I have this tablet right here. It's like I boot it up. I get to work to clean up like the studio. I turn it on. Like the first thing I probably watch like Philip DeFranco to like know what's going on.
Yes.
And then whatever other YouTubers post. And that's just like it's so cool. It's so freaking cool. I love YouTube. I think it's an amazing piece of media. So yeah. All right, let me see. What is next up on here? Excuse me.
Burps, apparently.
Cole. Yeah, we're gonna talk
Mogamo. What are you doing here?
What up, Mogamu? Hey. Today, let me see. All right, now it is time for some fan questions. If you guys have been around, actually, let me just pull up the Twitch chat because you guys. Oh shit, you can see the questions now. If you guys have been around, there we go. If you guys have been around last week in my Discord, I posted up that for every single one of these streams, you can ask some questions to the guests, and then I'll pick some that are like acceptable and we'll ask them. But right now it's also the time for Twitch chat. If you guys have any questions, put them in Twitch chat and we may like choose some that we're gonna answer. Agega Play says, I watch all my TV online. Yeah, we do. Cole texted me. What? Cole texted you? Oh shit, I'm reading shit, but no. Don't let him lie to you like you just arrived. He's been there for that. Well, actually Cole just moved on Wednesday to California. So
Damn.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like he came from Florida. He came from Florida. It was absolutely crazy. And the amazing thing is like he just came there. It's like California's like LA. It's like so freaking hot there. If you think about it, and he comes there from Florida, he's like, "Oh my God, it's snowing! It's so cold." I'm like, what? Cold in California? It's freezing out here, man. It is absolutely. What's the weather like at your place? Like, what is it in Canada right now?
I haven't gone outside yet. I don't know. It's sunny out. I'll tell you that. It kind of fluctuates. It's kind of yes, to be completely honest. It's been like snowing one day and like -11, and the next day it'll be like +14, and you're like, I don't know what to do. Like it's a gamble every time you walk outside. But yeah.
Like this year, like we never get a cold winter, but this year we've had like cold temperatures so many times. It's like it's March and it's like still sometimes freezing. It's like, why? It is March. Please let it be spring. I want it to be warm again. So yeah, but anyway, let's get to some of the questions.
Question. There's one from Goop. So Taylor. Okay, I'm gonna pretend.
Yeah.
I actually know I can't pretend. I can't do questions. So, Taylor, how frequently DMs? Not really. Not at all. I'll get to it when I get to it. I have like a post-it note where I write down all the DMs when I have a chance. So
you actually download them? Is there like
no, like I'll write down, I'll be like, okay, so Goop messaged me, like Mogami messaged me, Rob messaged me, like Michel messaged me, and so I have all this other stuff I need to do today, and then I'll these if I don't respond.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's.
Because there's like 200 of you, so I have to do something.
I know, right? It's like I feel bad. There are so many times where I don't get to people in Discord, and they send me messages like, "Oh, I should have." It's like if you get a message and then you get another one, like they get moved down, and if you sometimes you forget. Like,
I know that's the one issue. Like emails are so. You're like, okay, I can just mark this one as unread.
Yeah.
And I'll know to come back to it. Versus DMs, like. If you
know.
Look at it, God forbid, you're never gonna find it again.
All right, let's go over some of the questions that have been asked in the Discord, and then also look at some that have been asked in Twitch chat right now. Give you some more time to ask up your questions in Twitch chat. I saw a good one by Rob that we're gonna have to go to. But there were a lot about about Warframe, but this one really surprised me. And this is a question, I don't know, like a couple people asked this, like, they asked, like, what is one of the things in Warframe that's been the same for a while, but could use a drastic rework or change in your opinion? To which I was like, well, I think everything has been reworked right now, but is there still something that you feel like, well, we could rework, we could change, or... I was like, okay, well, I don't know, I think we just reworked everything, but could it be something?
It's a good question. It's a very good question indeed. I honestly, like, this is kind of a cop-out answer, but, like, the thing that I want to change the most definitely was, like, the decoration process, because I never, like, really played decorations at all, just because it was time-intensive, and I just didn't care as much, I guess. Like, I'm just not a IKEA frame person. Like, I admire everyone who has things, but right now, like, all of my Iotans are instantly melted. Like, I don't have the time and resources to decorate yet, and I'm not at that point. But the dojo, the dojo and like rework of the placement method is a lifesaver and a time saver, and I'm definitely gonna up my IKEA frame game after this. But I can't think of anything else. At the moment, that I think would need a drastic rework, to be completely honest.
I think pretty much like everything has been reworked so much, it's like it will take time.
I think like just a lot has been touched for sure. That I honestly I can't think of anything. So like especially like in terms of drastic reworks, like there are things that I'd be like, oh, I'd be change that, but I don't have something that I'm like, no, this is completely wrong when I need it to be.
So now there was another question, which I would say, let's take this a little bit more light. Let's take this like, don't take this too serious, because they asked about, well, if there's any frame ability that you don't like, is there any frame ability that Warframe ability you don't like, and how would you replace that? Now, a lot of Warframe abilities have just been replaced, so I'd say do not go with oh my god, it's OP. It can be like this ability can be completely OP, like just crazy. Like, what is one Warframe ability you like? There's like some irrational hatred towards, or like, oh my god, that would make that Warframe so good, too good maybe. So let's go that route. It doesn't have to be serious.
Volts 2. I don't like going fast. Walls.
What? What? No. What? Tell me. I need to know. What is it?
I'm sorry.
Like, seriously, I've been talking about this on stream a little while ago. I was asking, like, what's the thing with people on foot? It's not even that fast. It's like, it's more the effect that makes it look fast. But, like, what's up? Like, what makes it hard? I want to know.
I can't control it. I just can't do it. I don't know why. There's just something wrong with me, I think. It just doesn't click for me. Especially, I don't know. I just feel like I don't need it. It doesn't fulfill a need for me that I just don't use Volt that much because of it, I guess.
The funny thing is, like, when I picked up Volt, like, years ago, it was like, I didn't even see it as, like, the electricity frame or, like, the speed frame. And the electricity was his part because he was going so fast. It was, like, so much static electricity. But to be honest, like, there was a point in that's, like, there was no need for speed.
No need for speed.
No need for speed. Let's just crack down on that franchise. But if you like use parkour, you will go way faster than Volt.
Mm-hmm.
So I
also just like Nova so much that I just prefer to portal because I know exactly where I'm going. Unless someone walks right in front of me and then my portal is literally 2 centimeters long. Like,
oh yes.
Why?
So what would you replace Volt speed with? A slowdown?
I have no idea. I didn't think this far ahead. I just know that I don't like it. I'm sorry. I mean, like, I think at its core, it's like a decent ability, but me personally, I just don't ever use it, and I have no reason to. So that's my personal opinion. And I think, like, it's not a bad designed ability or anything. It's just, I don't want it. I don't want to use it. I don't like it when people sit around. I'm like, no! I'm running into walls. My voice is cracking. I'm so upset.
It seems like you're not the only one because I see Rob is also like, it's too fast. I don't get it.
Thank you, Rob.
All right, well.
No, don't tell him.
I've never felt closer to Satan than I do now.
Also, this is giant, if anyone noticed. It's like...
Oh, well, no. I'm going to beat you to that. Hold on. This is a thing. If you guys subscribe to the channel, this is a little bit of a plug, but you will have to emote of this. But let me show you. This thing is a little bit bigger. Can you see it? That's my Canada mug. Small size. I got this when I was like, oh my god, this is like as big as my head.
Oh my goodness,
I don't even know
why?
how much. Like I don't even know how much goes in there, but it lasts me like half a stream maybe. I drink a lot of water.
That's crazy.
It is, but I love it because it's like, you know, Canada.
Yeah, man.
I love it. It was like there's on one side says 150 years of Canada, so you know.
Oh, that's cool.
I love that. Anyway, let's take a look at a chat. What questions were there in chat? I think we have to scroll up a little.
There was one about what powers I'd want as a comic book.
Oh yeah, I saw that too by Rob. Mike.
I would just want to be able to teleport.
Oh.
That's all I care about. Man, I could like literally. So I grew up right across from my high school, so I would get up 10 minutes before class and put clothes on and go to school. And I just want that, except even faster.
Yeah. I was just like 10 minutes away from school, so
I know.
like,
okay, Goop, I can't help it. Nova is just too perfect. I told you.
Or maybe it's Loki's switch teleport.
That's true, but I don't want to switch someone because then someone will be in my house. You know, I need to just
decoy.
Yeah, like Nightcrawler. Yeah.
Decoy, throw in a clone.
That's true.
And that's even better because if you're like bored and you just want to go play games, you just toss in your clone, you switch with the clone. It's like, hey.
Yeah.
That was one of the funniest questions. Like, what Warframe ability would you have? One of the questions that we got asked for the partner video.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, oh my god, I never thought about that. So let me see. Let's see if there's another question. I think I saw another one. Oh my god.
There was a few, I think.
There was a few.
Did I join Rob's Discord to spy on him for being naughty? No, I didn't. Sorry.
So
I don't look in there for that exact reason.
Oh. I saw.
Goop?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Is that the one about memes?
Yes.
Yes.
We don't high five ever. So...
You don't? Oh my god.
Well, we sit like back to back, so like I'm facing this way and he's facing this way, so it'd be really hard.
Backwards
to, like, spin and
like
high five, but that wouldn't really work.
Do your chair spin? I would like totally do it every single time. Like you end the conversation with like a meme. It's like, yeah, hell yeah. There's been a lot more memes. I love that. And there has been a lot more memes in a place that we don't talk about. But there is somewhere on there. There's a place. Please, I didn't violate anything.
No, you're fine.
All
People
right,
have
cool.
talked about it before. Don't worry about it.
Oh my god, you should practice that spinning high five. I tell you.
We should. Maybe we'll record a video.
Yeah. Otherwise, how many days is it, Rob? It's like I think it's 106 days till TennoCon or something. If you have
104?
Wow.
I think it's so close, man.
It is. So if you haven't done it by then, we're gonna come into the studio. We're just gonna like go and we do a practice session, like turning around, high five. So we got it nailed down.
In 8 hours.
Don't talk about it. It keeps triggering my anxiety. Oh yeah. So let's see if there are any more. Like I think if there's anything up here that I missed. Chat goes so fast. Oh my god, I missed.
Excited for bagged milk. Why?
It is crazy. Like, I don't understand it. It's like I've never ever seen bagged milk, but in Canada. And
oh really? I can go get you some right now if you want. No, actually, I don't have bagged milk. I am a hypocrite. Oh my god.
I am actually.
My life is a lie.
I am actually like a real, like I drink a lot of milk and I love that they have like 4-liter packages. We just have 2 liters and it's like, oh yeah, I just break it out, and then my cousin would come around and say, "Oh, you want to do the milk challenge?" I was like, "What is that?"
Oh no. No.
But
No, no, no.
we ended up not doing it. If you don't know what it is, like it's like bigger than this thing, and you chuck that with milk in one. Don't do that. Don't do that. We don't
Please don't
encourage.
do that. Don't waste milk. Comes from cows, and
Yeah.
the cows deserve better than that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I miss Canada though. It was so great last year. Oh my god.
Ooh, interesting question from Rob. Okay, so when you first went to college, is this what you expected you would end up doing for a living? No. I've originally went to university. I was taking like a media-ish degree, I guess. I don't know what you would qualify it as. And then also an English major. And I was gonna be an editor. I was gonna be a publisher and an editor for novels because I love books. And I took English, and I was like, I hate this. I'm never doing this ever again. So I dropped it.
What
And,
were there like do you have to like read specific like old books, old literature for that?
Pardon?
Did you have to like read old literature for that, for like English?
It depends on the course, yeah. But I just didn't like the ways in which you had to write essays about it. Because, like, my media degree was a lot more, like, social and culturally focused, which is really cool. So, like, in that, I got to write an essay about, like, Mass Effect series. And, like, I got to write about a TV show, Orphan Black, that I used to watch. And these really kind of interesting cultural phenomenons. Or phenomena, I guess. Whereas English is just like, yeah, this the author thinks, and you're not allowed to talk about the social like relevance at the time or anything, which is boring.
I know like about that. We had like this IB thing in our high school, and we had to like read all the old stuff and then talk about that forever, and it was like, oh my god. I'm not. You probably know that I'm not really a university person. Like I don't. I did go to university, but I was like, all right, I want to be the best here, and it was like all going down like the tiniest little details, which is like, all right, well, just summarize. Pretty much when you did the research, you just summarized. You just summarized what was in these things or in these articles that you were given, and that was it. And I literally got it down to such a point where I could like literally do it the day before, the night before, and just like summer, and then they passed. I was like, okay, done. However, now like as I said, I've done like the a research into Twitch and YouTube, and I'm actually like I told my YouTube that I was gonna do like daily videos. I was gonna not that much written out edited content, but I just finished 3,000 words, 6 pages of scripted content about YouTube and Twitch, and that is like a research that has been going on for months. Like, okay, apparently I'm doing it now.
There you go. That's cool.
It is like there is definitely something fun about like getting to know things better, but like all these rules you have to stick to. It's like
it's true. I think it depends on the program. Like I loved my program. There was a lot of kind of repetition in later years, but I think like they talked about really important things. But I'm sure that certain degrees are worse than others, and I don't think like my specifically would have led to a job if it wasn't for the internships.
well, one thing that's interesting is like if you go back 50 years, like there were so fewer people with a degree. It's like if you had a degree, if you wanted if you wanted a job or not, you got one because you had a degree. Right now, I'm not saying everyone has a degree, but there are so many more people that have one.
It's definitely a lot more popular.
It's
almost an expectation now, which is crazy, but
it is,
especially with how expensive it is.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Think about it.
I can't even think about what it is like in overseas. Like we have it's relatively cheap. Though they like before in Holland, if you like finish your studies in like 10 years, they'd be like free. I was like, that was amazing. And then the year before I went to university, they decided to cut that. I was like, hell yeah, dude, I love that. Thank you so much. But
it's crazy.
The interesting thing is like there is also like a shift going on where it's like I've seen that with on TennoCon where they talked about like how to work for the E or something, where it's like the paper is not always the most important thing. And I think you see that more often. Like Elon Musk also says, like, you don't need to have a degree to work for SpaceX, to work for Tesla, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Let me see another.
I think like especially a lot of things taught, but there are benefits to going to university versus others, but it shouldn't be a requirement. I don't think at all.
I feel it's
depending. Like if you want to be a doctor,
yes.
I'm sorry, you need to go to school. But for the tech field, especially, you know, you don't really need that as much. There's so many resources on the internet now that taught completely. Like for instance, the Humble Bundle last month was coding books, which I bought, and I am going to try to learn.
No, I see like the way that I stand when it comes to university is that I did quit it, but I don't want to say that's like there's no worth to it or anything. It's very, very like there's a lot of potential, there's a lot of value in going to university or going to college. However, I feel it's like it's gotta be on your path. If I want to become a surgeon, I can't just wing it. You have to do. It's like in part of your track of getting there. However, if you want to become like a YouTuber, it's not necessarily like there is no clear path towards that. And if you feel like university is part of that, you should go there. I'm not really sad with like people just trying out to study because they have no idea what to do. But then again, you have to choose so early on in life what you want to do.
It's right? So true. It's so sad. Like honestly, I took an extra year in high school because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And at that time it was free, which I don't think it is anymore. So I'm like a year older, I guess. And I feel like it really helped me kind of get a feeling for what it is that I wanted to do. Because there was a point where I was like, I'm 16 years old and I'm going to be a singer. I'm going to be a makeup artist. I'm going to be, I don't even know. Like, it's such a huge decision at that age. And so much money to throw into like the hope that you'll figure out what you want. Like so many people I know have gone back to school already. Like they finished their degree and they're like, all right, I'm going back like right now.
But it's like a safe zone. Because to some extent it's like, you know, you can just go to school. It doesn't matter whether like if you go to school, like I think back to these days a lot because I didn't like it. I didn't have to study that much. Like, I'm not a guy that had to study. However, I was like, I always felt like, oh my god, I have to go. Like, it was a necessity. However, thinking back, like right now, it's like if I don't do something this today, it's like I miss a video. It's very like there are consequences to it. Back then, if you were like a little bit lazy one day in school, who cared? So I think it's also kind of like, you know, if you don't know what you want to do, you can always just go do this extra study, which, you know, you're just spending some time, you can figure it out, and at the end of it, you'll have another degree, which will always be handy, you know? But it's like, people don't know what they need to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing. And it's like, it's a big step. I know I've talked about it with Rob, how he moved from like his well-paying job to like being a YouTuber, which contrary to people's beliefs, it's like scraping by, getting by. It's not like you get to you get to drive 5 Lamborghinis the next day you get an extra sub. It's not how that works. So
I know. I mean, you hear about Ninja, and then you got to think about everyone else who isn't nearly at his level. Well, but I mean, I'm sure the reason why people switch is because it's something you love to do, and it's something that you get to take control of, right? Like, you are the one who guides where you go with your stuff versus following everyone else's rules, which is cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I know we have a lot of content creators in the chat right now. I just want to know from you guys if this resonates with you in any sort of way. But what I really like is that it's like everything that happens comes down to me. Like if things go good, it's because of me. If things go bad, it's because of me. Like, I have no one to blame but me. And it's like that puts you in a lot of power, puts you in a lot of responsibility, but it's like you can take it wherever you want to, and
it's empowering for sure.
So let me see. Rob says that's the number one reason that I went full time, being accountable. Yeah, it's like there's no one in your way to stop you, but it's also there's no one screwing it up. But if you screw up, it's because of you. So.
Yeah. As an aside, Rob has asked me if I like pineapple. When I was 8, I used to pretend that I was allergic to pineapple, so I wouldn't have to eat Hawaiian pizza. So there's your answer. I love pineapple though. It's okay on pizza. I don't know.
You were actually you were ahead of your time with a pineapple on pizza.
I was ahead of.
Oh the curve. My god!
This is next level. Okay.
So what's the next meme gonna be? Please tell us what's the next.
Oh, I can't reveal my secrets. Also, I don't know. So, although I am really enjoying the American oil one right now, although it's a little controversial.
Oh
but
yeah. Oh my god. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah. This is one of my mods. Travel asked this. Like, how do you feel about Hydroid?
He's fun, but I personally, when I play games, really like the support role. That's probably like a really stereotypical woman thing, I guess. But I really like frames that do a lot more CC. Like, I love playing Trinity and just like balancing EV and like damage dealing and like watching everyone's health and energy bars. Like, I find something really rewarding out of that, and I think that's probably why I like community work too, because it's like you're supporting people and like it's like almost there's a little level of like caregiving, which I think is really fun. Which is probably weird. So I don't play a lot of Hydroid because he doesn't really if I want to play like loot heavy or loot focused, I play Necros because I like his 3.
All right.
I like all the frames in Nova, okay? Just Nova is fun. That's all.
Oh my god. Well, there's actually I think I did not prepare for this, so I think I'm just gonna straight up steal this until someone else comes up with a better idea. But I'm gonna steal this from the H3 podcast. Today, like, I want to end this podcast off with a question. Do you have or do you know any ghost stories? Is there anything in your life like that has happened that's kind of felt like supernatural or weird? Do you have any of that?
I don't. But I remember I haven't thought in decades, but I remember when I was like 7 and I went to throw a pair of pants onto a chair and they landed perfectly, and I was like, there's a ghost in my bedroom right now. That is my only ghost story. It's literally it. You know, like sometimes when something happens so perfectly, like there's something supernatural happening. That's it. That's the only thing. I'm sorry.
No.
I don't really believe in ghosts. I used to watch like ghost hunters religiously when I was younger, but I don't necessarily believe in them, I guess. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. It's fine.
How about you? Do you have a ghost story? Do you have anything paranormal?
I don't know. Well, there's one thing. There's one thing that kind of comes to mind, which is not that weird. It's like it didn't really like. When I was 13, back in 2011, my uncle passed away. He was like, he was very big. He was very good in swimming. He trained me a lot. He was like, he missed the Olympics on like a hundredth of a second. It was like. He was so close, and I was training with him quite a bit, and then he took his own life, and it was back then it was like I was 13, and I always predicted, like, I was always like, okay, shit, 13, that's gonna be a bad year, and then that happened. I was like, okay, shit. However, then a couple of months later, I had this dream where I was swimming the fly stroke. If you guys don't know, it's like the butterfly. And it was like as though I was being like taught, like, where do you put your hands? Where do you like find the power? And I was like, I don't know. Is this him talking to me? Is this like, it may have been just a dream, but at the same time, it was like, it just felt so real. It was like, it was crazy. It was just weird.
No, that's cool. I think that there are definitely aspects of things that aren't explained, and I don't know the extent to which how paranormal they are, but I honestly I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
It's hard for me because I feel like I don't want to sound arrogant, but I feel like there is nothing in the world that I don't understand. It's like you may not know something, but you may understand how you can get to know something. Like I can't do an open heart surgery, but I can understand how someone can get to do that. It's like it makes sense. So, but yeah. Anyway, I think it's time for us to end up this podcast, guys. Thank you so much for watching this very first episode. Today we asked, who the fuck is Taylor? D.E. Taylor? And I think we got a pretty nice picture. I think it was really, really good. Guys, go follow her over at Twitter at The Taking, and I think you also put up your Twitch on your Twitter, so go follow her on Twitch.
I don't do anything on Twitch, but you're welcome to follow me.
You should do a stream once. We should totally
I was thinking about it. I honestly, I don't think I have the rig though. All I have is like a laptop, so
don't worry about it. Like I did the same thing. When I was like in TennoCon and we had to do the stream, only thing I had was like
I remember that. That's true.
It was like fingers crossed. So it's fun. Let me see. There are ads playing on your channel. You're ready. You should get that.
Where's
monetized.
My revenue, Twitch?
Yeah, Twitch. What up, dude? Go get us some revenue. I'm watching an ad right now. Come on. All right. But yeah, guys, go check out Taylor. Check her out on Twitter and give her some love. You know.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I think that was the podcast, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next week. And the guest for next week is still unknown, but we'll check out in the Discord, Discord, and you'll be able to find out who it is in the coming week. And there you can post up your questions. Yeah, that's the end of it. Anything you want to say at the end?
Thank you so much for having me. It was really fun. Also, DDoS happening. That's why the server's issues are here, and I don't know if it's ended. So, if you're still experiencing issues, that's why. I'm so sorry, guys.
All right. It's still being worked on. Server issues on Warframe. If you're having them, we know about it. Should people like if people are having issues, should they like tell them, like, are there ways they should like let you know about it, or like we know, stop telling us? Like, what's like the thing about it right now? If people are having issues still,
I mean, like, if you're still experiencing issues, feel free to tweet at us. I know that like we've publicly acknowledged it, but having tweets help us also identify sometimes if things are wrong, right? So
okay,
yeah,
okay, that's cool, guys. See you next week.